Okay, that's the last of the materials into the house. So the first thing we need to do is remove the skirtings. So I'll show you a few tips on how to do that properly. Now, if you've got a new house like this one, they'll come off very, very easily. But if you've got an older property, I'll show you how to tackle those skirtings in a different tutorial. But first, let's get the kettle on. Taking a skirting off isn't difficult, but it does help if you have an understanding of how it was put on in the first place. Now, this I think has been put on with a wire stitch, looking at these holes that haven't been filled properly. Plus there'll also be a bead of decorator's caulk along the top. Now the nails will pull out of the wall very, very easily, but we have to split the caulk. Okay, so you're going to need a knife something like this. Now I've just put a new blade in that so it's nice and sharp. Now when removing a skirting from a plasterboard wall, what we do is we put a score line through the paper. We don't try and cut the decorator's caulk. Now the reason for this is that when you remove the skirting, the caulk is going to want to pull this paper off up the wall. If you've created that score line, it can't travel up the wall any further than the line itself. Now you need to put a little bit of force into this. It can be quite firm. And we get that line across the wall there. And there we go. The next thing to do is to remove the skirting itself. Now, I like to use one of these little crowbars. It's got quite a wide head on it, so it spreads the pressure when you're levering the skirting off the wall, but it's also got quite a sharp edge. Now that's good because it allows you to get right down between the wall and the skirting. So try and position that quite tight into the join between the wall and the skirting. And using a hammer, gently work your way along until you can get your fingers in and just gently prise it off the wall. Okay, there we go. So that's the skirting off the wall. Now I'm going to be using these ones again and putting them back on. So we need to tidy them up a bit. Now what you'll find is the nails stick through the back here. Now with a little pair of pliers, pull those out. Now we pull them out the back because if there's any damage, it's on the back of the board. The front of the board is still intact. And using your Stanley knife, remove that little bit of decorator's caulk that we had along the top. And very often in a new house like this, when the decorators come in, you'll probably find there's lots of paint that's run down the skirting and got into the gap underneath. So if we clean that off as well, when the skirting goes back on, you have a very, very clean edge to sit up to your floor. So that's the flooring complete in this room. So I'll just quickly show you the skirting going back on. So we just drop that into position. And using a nailer, we can quickly fix that on. And then using decorator's caulk along the top, we reseal the skirting back to the wall. That was the caulk that we removed. And then just the spare bit on your finger. Touch up the nail holes, ready for the skirting to be repainted. Quick wipe. And that's it, like it's never been off.